So sometimes you get such a home run trade, such a huge trade that changes your entire month, sometimes your entire year, entire week. So one such trade was today was the fade on the memory stocks SNDK. Before we look at it, let's just see what was happening in the market. What was happening? So the memory used for AI boom has so much demand that these memory stocks have been running crazy and for a while now. These stocks have run up over 500%, 600, 700% since 7-8 months ago. SNDK, WDC, Micron. There's a big list of these stocks. They've been running. Great trade for the swing traders because it is a hot sector. So I have been covering the memory stocks on my Twitter for a while now. We've been talking about the memory, all these hard drive stocks, memory stocks, which have been a crazy runners, right? Like I talked about in October, they have been a huge winners for the AI mania. All the names are already 300, 400%. And they were, of course, even from that October, they were continuously running because so much hype, and of course the real demand, real backlog. You can, if you follow my X, you know that I have talked about it. So of course it was a beautiful trade for a lot of swing traders so far. But now yesterday, of course STX reported earnings, Seagate, and then SNDK reported earnings, and that was a climax, you call it, sell the news, because of course it's amazing earning, but you have to understand how much we have run for so long. And this morning SNDK was gapping up huge from 546 to $660, almost $120 gap. So how do you plan for this trade? What do you plan? Okay, so you got to plan it in the pre-market. The plan in the pre-market was simple: extend it to the upside, bullish buys if 640 holds, but if 640 fails, it will be a profit taking. Look at that, 640, 630, support 675. We were ready to long it if it broke out of the pre-market highs, but if you wait on the first candle, you see it's a big rejection candle. So that tells you, that's what I told the traders, no go. Broke 650, no go. As soon as I see that it's trying to break 640, I told the traders, grab 640. Your stops are at 662. Of course, you want to short closer to the 662 level, and your target is the full gap fill. This is one of my favorite setups. So what is a gap? Gap is the price difference between yesterday's close and today's open. So that was SNDK. This is where we started. Now, if you're an options trader, let's talk about the options. If you're a shares trader, that's fine. You short 100 shares, you're risking $1,500, $2,000, and you can also use Fibonacci. And by the time you are done, you're making 10 grand. Even more than that, because the sell-off is huge, right? Every 100 shares, every $10, you're making $1,000. And look at the sell-off, $100 sell-off. So you don't really have to size too much when you're shorting that. Now let's talk about the options, right? Options IB was a little heavy. You could wait the first 10-15 minutes and then get the puts. So let's talk about the 620 puts. So there's a few ways to trade this. When I told the short, we were talking about, we were live on The Voice, and I was talking about what kind of puts you can buy. Now, if you're buying the 600 lottos, which are, that's 100% risk. 600 lottos, 100% risk. That's what I told the traders to buy. If you're buying a closer option, then you have to watch, because they're expensive. You have to watch. You cannot really, even they can go to zero. So you have to see what kind of options you want. So if I'm looking at here, let's take a look here at the 600. So this is a 600 lot option, which was a guiding live in the community. It started from 260. You see, initially it was not doing much. But as soon as we saw this dump, and that went from $3 all the way to $12. So your $300 became $12. Then it went sideways for a while because the price was kind of bouncing from that area, that 600 area. So let's take a look here. So you see that price hits the Fibonacci. Always draw a Fibonacci. The price hits a Fibonacci. It was bouncing here. It was bouncing from 600 psychological level. We actually covered our shorts when it was bouncing from 600. But as soon as I see that 600 is failing, I told the traders to re-short it. So I told the traders to re-short it. RGB was continuously guiding step by step on 30-minute bear flag, step-by-step guidance for the traders. And then once our calls failed, I told the traders 600 breaks, it will be a waterfall down. I gave the target of 550. Once the 600 break, 550, remember the full gap can fill, and then next target was 540. I told the traders full gap fill, and we filled the gap fill and even went red, right? So if you see that, we were talking about this 600 puts right now. Here you can either hold your 600 puts. Let's say you had your 600 puts, you could hold them, right? They will moving up and down for a long time, but as soon as 600 breaks, they become in the money, they move $1. So that's where the real money is made. And if you bought it at $3, even if you have one contract left, even if you bought the lotto as $5, it went as far as $60. Your $500 became $6,000. Your $5,000 could have, of course, I don't recommend loading that much, but the point is that you were getting 1,000% return. Even if you had one lotto, or even if you had two lottos, you were making from 1,000, you're making $10,000. So that's how you maximize your reward. Literally game changing. And you see, we don't do any hindsights. I teach you again and again how to make these trades. You can see the next target 550 and 550 hit and the full gap fill, right? So when you are taking this trade, you should understand that how much profit you can actually make. If you are risking 100%, you can actually make 1,000%. That is the power of this gap fill trade setup, guys. That's the power of the gap fill setup. But you need to understand the overall environment. Why can something make such a big move? What the memory stocks are doing. How can they make such a big move? What's the reason? Profit taking. Every investor is kind of taking some profits there, right? So if you see STX, so what was STX? So STX was our day 2 setup. So let's look at our day 2. So now STX reported amazing earning. We were long there, but it was also, when the whole sector is weak, you got to watch these plays as well. STX, Micron, all those names. So STX, our plan was to short under 454 or 3450, and even STX, as soon as it breaks the 455, it fails all the way to 400. Beautiful trade. A lot of call outs on STX by traders in the community as well. Another one, you could literally take the home run trades on those Lotto puts, right? If you look at APP was MTF breakdown, another home run trades. So that's what when you trade Lotto options, you need to understand the risk reward behind them, so that when you are taking that position, if you're risking $100, you're trying to make $500. You're risking $1,000, you're risking $5,000. What happens is, usually the traders, they will try to short something like that. They will get a huge position, it bounces a little, they'll panic, they will sell, and that position goes all the way, and they are red. They were right about it, but they are red, and by end of the day, they could have been up 500-600% but they don't do the right position sizing. That gives them problem. Or what they'll do is, they'll have a big account. Let's say they have $50,000 account. They buy 20,000 grand worth of puts, which is completely ridiculous risk management, and it goes 5% down, they'll make 3,000-4,000, and they'll be happy with it. And then they'll see that, oh wow, it went 600%, their 20,000 could have been 100,000. Then they think, oh wow, I could have made a lot. But again, it's all bad position sizing. You got a positions way small, that you are not nervous, you respect the Ripster Clouds, let the Ripster Clouds work for you, and let the setups work for you, and so that you can have these huge winners with the Lotto options and like SNDK and other names. So let's talk about some of the more trades you could do it. Why it was a historic Lotto option day. So we know that the silver down 28%, gold, all the metals after their huge crazy run, right? We need to understand that why is everything happening. Silver, which is the ETF, we have a silver future, we got a silver futures, which you look at that, futures are down 31%, and they've been running crazy, right? A lot of macro environment, a lot of macro things, what's happening in the Greenland, the Fed, what's China doing with the restricting the supply. So you need to understand all that macro whenever you're trading these names, the metals. Whenever you're trading those, a lot of traders do not understand that. They've been trying to short silver for a long time, getting destroyed. You see on X account, a lot of traders, big accounts, been calling short just based on the chart. The chart really doesn't matter, right? You need to think in a different way, psychological way, human psychological way. Anyways, now the FOMC is out of the way. Trump is talking about a Fed governor, who is going to be cutting rates and all that. So that kind of lot of macro kind of shifted. And also we have, today was options, right? It's a lot of Friday. So a lot of option action. Once the stock started to sell off, So also to the Friday, right? A lot of mark options expiry, OPEX expiry. So that also was very well a reason for this huge sell-off. It was a perfect storm, extended macro environment and the options, right? As soon as it starts to sell off, all the call options, which are so many call options which are being sold in losses, the market makers could sell their hedges, and it all results in this huge waterfall down on silver, and be it SLV ETF, or maybe it's a leverage ETFs AGQ, which was another reason. The AGQ has to do a lot of rebalancing and stuff, which that's why you see crazy moves. AGQ was down 60%, while silver was down 25-30%. It is insane, right? But what this gives us as a traders, it gives us opportunities, right? So you got to be ready for those opportunities. That's why in the pre-market plan we had a plan for silver down 5%. I told the traders, trade the silver futures or PSLV, follow the clouds. My traders already know the system. We also provide the future levels. We gave the levels in the pre-market on silver futures that you could trade. The key thing to note on silver futures was that silver futures were almost trading close to that 100 level. Okay, so this is silver ETF, silver futures, and then of course we have AGQ, which was our leverage ETF. So let's talk here, right? So initially we were looking at the bounce here, but the bounce failed. So I told the traders, get out of the get out of 89.90, get out of that. As soon as it was breaking down right here under the 512s, I told the traders that short it towards the MTF, because whenever we see the breakdown here, and other thing is silver futures was breaking 100. It's a good risk level. So you just short it, and it's a Lotto Friday. You buy the Lotto options. The first target I gave was the first MTF, right? And I continuously told the trader it is staying heavy. Then the next target was the next MTF, and we hit the next MTF too. MTF to the MTF. The OG Ripster Cloud indicators, which gives you the power to hold on to your targets, right? Nobody is buying here. If you were buying, I don't let anybody buy against the clouds. Yes, when the MTF clouds are bouncing, maybe you can do a D minus bounce, but this is where the real money is made. Either you're trading silver futures or you're trading silver SLV. SLV options, literally, if you want to look at, let's take a look at some of the SLV puts here. Let's take a look at 80 puts. Let's take a look here at 80 puts here on silver. They went from like $1 to $11, right? So they were more liquid than SNDK, but still, it was almost 1,000, depending on where you bought it, 1,000% trade. But you don't necessarily have to go that much out of money, because you don't really know we want to fade that much. But you can always buy the initial Lotto ports, and you buy 85, 84, and when they are working, you take the profit and then you buy the further puts. And that Ripster Clouds, like I was giving the targets, I gave my targets 85, and next target I gave was 70. I told the traders we are going to hit the MTF clouds. No question asked. This was the power of the MTF cloud system, that you're always hitting that. It's a system. I don't really care, that it's too low. I don't really care. As long as my clouds are bearish, I'm bearish. If you have to trade the clouds, you size small. Let the clouds dictate your size. And of course, we bounced from the MTFs here. I think after the rebalancing was done, AGQ, you could short literally 100 shares, so liquid 100 shares from 270 to 126. That's why I leverage ETFs. They go up fast, they come down even faster. So that was a beautiful trade as well by the traders shorting that. My traders in our community were done. We're done with this SLV trades. Beautiful trade here. Everybody was on SLV. Just insane. Jared killed SLV gold. So it was just a beautiful day on SLV. Mr. Sam made 25K. He did pretty good. So my traders are holding towards that level, and this is what I teach you guys day in, day out. So their day like today, you need to understand how these opportunities are coming. Nothing is too low, nothing is too high. Understand it's Friday, it's market makers, it's option expiry. So a lot of things are coming together to make this historic day on the downside. And shorting is the same as going long. but as long as you're keeping your sizes in check, guys, you can be part of these big moves. And that's what we do every day. That's why I teach every day. That's why I show you on YouTube, as well as live on in our community, live on screen and live on voice. That's what I continuously guide to the traders. Insane day, historic day, and we're going to have more such days. But hopefully you guys could learn here, and hopefully nobody lost money buying the dips against the cloud. Hopefully you can use these teachings, and next time you can have those home run trades as well. So you can have those home run trades as well. All right, so let's talk about some other trades as well. Let's talk about this is Tesla, a technical analysis, how you can do a technical analysis on Tesla. This one actually I shared on the community as well. Always on Friday, pay attention to your flow, right? So I saw that certainly a lot of flows coming in, 900 calls for end of the year. That's fine. A lot of closed term calls were coming in for 430, 435, and we had a bullish chart, right? I went to the 30-minute and I saw this bullish chart. That's why I tweeted, I alerted that chart. We need to identify, and right away I told my traders, long it. Long this curl right here, 484, 424, or risk 426, and the target is 432s. And you could go to the 10-minute chart as well. I can show you that. So you see that we are breaking out here. This is the Ripster curl. You get a long here, even if you're a little late, that's fine. But this was a 30-minute setup. And again, no hindsight from me. No hindsight. We are talking before the move. This was the setup, and boom, there we go. 434. My first target hit 434. Next target 436. 436 hit. The live guidance, you see that just in that crazy move, traders made 140, 150, 100% move. We usually don't talk about the dollar, but today was just such an insane day with a lot of these trades. Traders were making those 5-figure days in the community, 17,000, 9,000. It's fine. I don't like to talk about the dollars, but the key is, how did you make those dollars? You risked less, you made more. So that's what you're going to do on the Lotto Friday. The options literally went crazy. It's a high confidence setup. You can see that how my step-by-step guidance, 512 calls, 434, 36, and also no hindsight. Even the traders on the X made some money there. So you need to identify such patterns: inverse head and shoulder, in this case a downtrend breaking 30-minute Ripster's MTF cloud, always targeting the next MTF cloud, and that's exactly what happened. We pushed close to the next MTF cloud. Of course, it was a not super bullish day, so we couldn't get more breakout, and we got out when it pulled back. So that was the trade, guys. This was a Tesla trade. This was our Lotto Friday recap. We did have a small loser in the morning, which was PLTR. We tried to long PLTR over 150, but that didn't work. So right away I told the traders to cut it. But you see that when our losers are way small. Our losers are way small than our winners. Our winners are much bigger than our losers, right? So PLTR, we were longing it, and then we got out when there was no news. I should not have selected this trade, but there was no really news on PLTR there. So anyways, I didn't want to do the full big recap. I just wanted to cover the main trades for the Lotto Friday. Hopefully you have had a good day. Have a great weekend. Take care. Bye bye. See ya.